Voice that you're hearing in the background is Sebastian. He's currently watching Give a Mouse a Cookie on Time. It's very educational, it's very relaxing, and it teaches your kids great lessons. But I'm going to move into the kitchen. That way I don't get like a massive copyright. Ugh. So, but what I want to talk to you guys today is about this again. So I've done some more reading, and also congratulations to the Oklahoma men's baseball team. They won their third baseball championship. So congrats. But the thing that I have issue with is the Heisman Trophy candidates. So let's see here. Okay. So, your Heisman favorites, according to this magazine's publication, is C.J. Carr, quarterback out of Notre Dame, Arch Manning, quarterback out of Texas, Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, The Ohio State University. Then you have Trinidad Chimbliss, the quarterback out of Ole Miss. What's up, Jesse Jackamer? Glad to have you on. Big shout out to Jesse Jackamer and JWE. JBCW will be back this Wednesday. And I apologize for not putting out more episodes of JBCW. My schedule has been getting more and more hectic, especially since I have 2 kids now and because of my job. So I do apologize. The other quarterback is Julian Sayin, the quarterback out of Ohio State, then the quarterback out of Oregon, Dante Moore. And Dante would have probably been the first overall pick had he not decided to return to Oregon. And then Gunnar Stockton is the last Heisman favorite, the quarterback out of Georgia. The other honorable mentions for the Heisman are Josh Hoover, the backup quarterback that studied under Kirk Warwick and Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana. Then you have Darian Mensah, the quarterback in Miami. Then Sam Leavitt, who left Arizona State University. What's up, Lexus Nichols? Glad to have you on. Glad to have each and every one of you guys on. I am your host, John Breakdown. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and glad to have you guys on. We're talking sports. Sam Leavitt, who had a good 3-year career at Arizona State, he transferred to LSU to hopefully win LSU a championship under Lane Kiffin. He has that arm that Kiffin loves. The other 3 Heisman candidates that are called Heisman sleepers, according to this publication, are Bear Bachmeier, the quarterback out of BYU, the running back out of Missouri, Ahmad Hardy. Now, I actually watched a bit of Missouri football, especially when they played Alabama last year, and that kid Hardy can run. He can hit the line. He's a bruiser of the running back, and he reminds me almost like Derrick Henry, like a smaller version of Derrick Henry, the way he can just hit that line and get to the middle of the field and score. And Prime_Dev says noob. Dude, I've been doing YouTube longer than you've probably been on here. So if anyone's a noob, you're the noob. Then the other quarterback sleeper is Jaden Mavia out of USC. Mavia led the Big Ten with 3,711 passing yards in 2025. Now, Lincoln Riley, I think, has done a horrible job at USC. I don't think he's the right coach for USC. USC used to be a blue blood in college football, to where they were, you always talked about them being in the mix for a championship. Well, since these playoffs have happened, USC hasn't even sniffed the playoffs. They haven't been that good since the Pac-12 folded and they joined the Big Ten, because there's a reason for that. Yes. USC just doesn't have the same allure as it once did under Pete Carroll. What's up, Lopez 155? And Judge Clutch 82B, glad to have you on. And I really think so if I was a voter for the Heisman, I would really have to consider CJ Carr the front runner, because what he can do with Notre Dame if he stays healthy and if the Fighting Irish, so the USC Trojans made it in the very beginning of the playoffs. Made it in the very beginning. They haven't made it back since. And that was under Coach Todd Helton, not under Lincoln Riley. And USC hasn't won a Big Ten title since joining the Big Ten, because that division is so stacked. I mean, my God, the Big Ten. So these are the schools that are in the Big Ten Conference. Let me name them for you. We have Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, USC, Michigan, Penn State, Iowa, Illinois, Washington, Minnesota, Nebraska, Wisconsin, UCLA, Northwestern, Michigan State, Purdue, Maryland, and the Rutgers. And, I mean, when you have a division that stacked, I mean, obviously Indiana is still good because Curt Cignetti has recruited well. They just won the national championship. I still think some of the pieces there from their national championship run are still going to be there. So they got to be the overwhelming favorite to win the division, but you cannot count out the Ohio State University or the Michigan Wolverines. Those are the two powerhouses, the blue bloods, if you were, of their division. And I find it funny that Michigan just lost their basketball coach. He just went to become the Dallas Mavericks' new head coach, and a chance to coach Cooper Fleck. Yeah, I take that job after winning a national championship. Plus, they threw a boatload of money my way. But, I mean, like Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, got to be the top three in the Big Ten. Outside of that, you're looking at USC, Penn State, Iowa. UCLA hasn't been relevant in God knows how long. Maryland, so me being from Virginia, I love the ACC. I will always love the ACC, but I grew up watching the Southeastern Conference, the SEC. But I would always hear about how back in the day the Terrapins were dominant, that they could run roughshod over the ACC, which is why they left. Since then, they've absolutely been like the Vanderbilt of the Big Ten. They haven't been really good. They haven't been relevant. And I would rather see the Maryland Terrapins come back to the ACC conference and be dominant once again. And plus, then you got Rutgers. Rutgers is located in New Jersey, and let's just face it, no team in New Jersey is ever going to win a championship, ever. And yes, I'm talking about the New York Jets. And then Ohio State, looking at their schedule, Ryan Day enters his 8th season in Columbus, and he continues to meet the expectations of the most demanding job in the FBS. Now, that's bullshit right there. Ohio State is not the most demanding job in all of college football. That goes to Alabama, because Alabama is title town. You have the shadow of Nick Saban looking down upon thee from on high. And I mean, come on now. Ryan Day inherited a team from Urban Meyer that he made into his own. He won one national championship. One. And since then, he hasn't been able to do it because every time he's gotten back in the playoffs, they got bounced. Except for 1 year. So Ohio State opens up their schedule on September 5th at Ball State, then Texas. They have their rivalry with the Longhorns once again, which was a really boring game last season. It was like a 13-10 win for them. Then at Kent State, Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, and then the matchup that I have circled here is October 17th. Because October 17th, they travel to Indiana to take on the reigning, defending national champions, the Indiana Hoosiers, in a really exciting matchup, which I think is going to surprise people. It could be a trap game for them because everyone thought Ohio State was going to beat the pants off of Indiana last year, and Indiana just hit them right straight in the mouth. So, and then they travel to USC, Oregon, Northwestern, Nebraska, and Michigan. Now, the back of that schedule, the back end is going to be a gauntlet. Plus, we don't know what injuries could happen. We don't know if Julian Sayin is going to be completely healthy. And I think Texas could be better than what they have been, especially if Arch Manning takes that step forward and if Steve Sarkisian can have that Texas offensive line humming. Because really, let's be honest here, folks, what protects a quarterback in college football is the offensive line. The way you win games are in the trenches on your defensive line and your offensive line. And Ohio State, they lost a lot of good offensive line pieces in the draft. So we'll see what happens. And Lincoln Riley's record at USC thus far since 2002 is 36-17. That's not bad. Especially now since he has the former TCU head coach Gary Patterson as his defensive coordinator. I think USC on the defensive side will be better. But also I think that, when you talk about blue bloods of college football, like I want to see someone other than Alabama, other than Ohio State, other than Michigan to win a championship, or even Indiana. Yes, Indiana's a small school, and yes, they had a dream season. They went 16-0 through the new formation of the playoffs. But I want someone from the ACC or the MAC West to win it. Someone from these lower conferences to actually get a chance. That way, it actually feels like an actual playoff, kind of like March Madness. And I really hope that James Franklin can do well with my Virginia Tech Hokies. Like, I love my Alabama Crimson Tide, but I'm from Virginia, born and raised. I want VT to win a national championship in my lifetime. Do I think James Franklin will do it? Hell no, because he couldn't do it at Penn State. But there's hope. There's a sliver of hope that I think James Franklin can win a national championship at Virginia Tech. Michigan Wolverines. Oh, God. So Michigan starts over. They hired Kyle Whittingham, who went 177-88. He has a 66.8 winning percentage at Utah from 2004 to 2025. He brought his offensive coordinator Jason Beck and Jay Hill and Kerry Coombs to Michigan. And what's up, Drayden Bowling? Glad to have you guys on. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. The only hope for Michigan is the fact that they are returning Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood could be a Heisman Trophy candidate. He could be a big star in the NFL. But I mean, Michigan starts out their schedule at Western Michigan on September 5th, then at Oklahoma, then they travel to UTEP, then Iowa, Minnesota, and then Penn State, and then at Indiana. That's just their first schedule. So I think Michigan's going to have a tough time, especially if they lose one or two games. I mean, we'll see what happens. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is all that I have time for today. I hope you guys click like and sub. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you stop by, and I will see you guys same breakdown time, same breakdown place. We'll be back in JBCW tomorrow. So, peace.